All right. Let's continue the Reaper story. I'm gonna be doing this off screen, well, off stream technically, because I don't think anybody wanted me to watch me just grind for however long it took me to get to this point, at least. Apologies, Sai, but we're still waiting for Arnigus to come through. There's not much for you to do around here until then, unless you have a knack for cleaning. Herman is good at wheedling our promise and stories and whatnot, but getting to the truth of those stories is a craft as delicate as weaving. I'm sure you've seen firsthand how one bad bit of information can lead to elaborate plans coming apart at the seams. Boss! Boss! Calm down, lad. Breathe. What's gotten into you? It's Arnigus! He's been murdered! What? Tell me I heard that wrong! I'm afraid not. The brass blades found him half burned in the sands not bells ago. Just lying there like some bloody animal carcass. They're bringing him to Erelic's burial chamber as we speak. Oh shit. Whoever did this doesn't know the reckoning they've got coming. Before I'm done with them, they'll be begging to crawl back into their mother's womb. I want justice just as much as you, Herman. I do. But it's times like these we need to look to the boss for guidance. As you can see, Sai, emotions are running high. I should stay here until Herman cools off. Can you let the boss know we're standing by waiting for her command? Like it's not she's gone to pay her respects. Well, that's certainly a development I did not expect. Where? No, it's by the Thaumaturgus Guild. In fact, they basically never go there outside of whenever the fucking story or whatever tells me to. I have not touched Black Mage, like, ever. Sorry, Sai. I ain't in the mood for chit-chat. Oh. Where's the bloody keeper? My lady, prithee, the dead must be let to rest. The dead's going to have one more among 'em if you don't shut your trap and listen. The brass blade, fucking, oh well, I guess just as well. Okay, where were we? Uh, the dead are going to have one more among 'em if you don't shut your trap and listen. The brass blades brought in a body not long ago. Show me to it. Ah, yes, that they did. But are you the deceased family? If not, I'm afraid we cannot. Family! Family! Arnigus was like a son to me! Like a son? Ordinarily, that would be. He is interred in the innermost coffin. However, I must advise you do not gaze upon the body. Mother. If she insists, then so be it. God damn it, Arnigus. I told you not to go and get yourself. Don't, Sai. This isn't for you. I'm sorry for barging in here and for all the bluster. If you can't forget my rudeness, promise me that Anna gets sent off well and proper. Of course she shall be. However, if you wish to inter him within the city gates, well, such sought-after space comes at no small expense. I don't care what it costs. Just send your man to the Lemure's headquarters to collect what you require. Sai, I appreciate you coming to find me, but there's someone else I have to speak with first. I've headed to Stone's Throw. Come along if you please, but come along in silence. This is where Anarchist, dear wife, earns her living. Best get this over with. Oh no. Anarchist never forgot the debt he owed you. The debt we both owed you. Even so, his loyalty ran deeper than that. It's a strange thing to look back at the people we were. A decade younger and a lifetime more foolish. Young lovers, proud patriots, blissfully ignorant, returned to Locus Ammonius, the cradle of our people. A triumphant homecoming for the Garleans after centuries in exile. The once mighty invaders had been laid low and driven back whence they came. And it was a banner day when Arnigus was honored with a post there. The honor and pride quickly faded when we saw the truth of Locus Ammonius. We hadn't just defeated our enemies, we've clad them in irons and condemned them to a life of servitude. Descendants of those who'd driven our ancestors north so many generations ago, made to pay for the crimes of their forebears. His superiors were certainly pleased with the poetry of it all. Arnigus, however, could not seem to look away from their suffering, let alone take pleasure in it. Confronted with the reality of the place we would call home, his conscience demanded that he take action. He began cooperating with the resistance, but the eyes of the Frumentarium are all-seeing, and before long he was ousted as a sympathizer. It was only by the grace of good fortune that we both escaped with our lives. I've often lain awake at night, wondering if he'd outlived his usefulness through resistance, or perhaps it was a petty senior officer that orchestrated our fall. Regardless of the cause, the outcome was the same. We could never return to the Empire. We fled to Eorzea by the way of Ras Adhan, the only route open to us. It wasn't soon before after stepping through the docks of Limsa Lominsa that your luck ran out, as I recall. Stopped by the Yellow Jackets and accused of being Imperial spies. We were still managing to escape. We ran and ran, terrified that our pursuers would one day catch up to us. That is, until we met you. Had you not taken us under your wing when you did, I shudder to imagine what our fate would have been. Your gratitude is the last thing I deserve, lass. you hadn't sent Arnigus off on my damned fool's errand, he'd still be alive. It was Orcus that killed him, and no mistake. He died for my vengeance. I can't tell you how sorry I am. No, you needn't apologize. I know he was happy. So long as he was helping you, he was happy. The blame for his death doesn't rest on your shoulders. It rests on the man, the monster that murdered him in cold blood. And I expect you to see he answers for this crime. For me and for Arnicus. I will, lass. I will. On this I swear everything that I have to swear. We need to talk, Sai. Someone with fewer prying eyes. Come meet me at the bridge to the north. I owe you an apology, Sai, for not telling you everything about me and Orcus from the start. I dragged you into a fight against a foe that's cunning, brutal, and utterly merciless. I thought with all of us together, we'd tip the scales in our favor. But I was wrong. Arnicus paid the price for my hubris. That voice that we tracked in the Black Shroud was likely one of Orcus's minions, but I was too caught up in my grand scheme to realize it at the time. I should have thought about why I tried to hide that body. Your common voice wouldn't have the guile to bury a kill. But what if Orcus taught it that as a way to throw trackers off its scent, and to dangle bait for me and mine? Orcus has used that same trick in the past, and he knows that we know it too. By dispatching his minion, we drew his attention. Arnicus was a warning. Orcus doesn't give his prey swift deaths. He toys with them, cuts into them, and savors their screams. That's how I knew he was responsible. He's like a signature, the way he leaves his bodies when he had his fill. I only pray Arnicus doesn't take that suffering with him to the next life. Orcus will be coming for you or me next. Not right away, though. That'd be giving up the game. He wants us to keep looking over our shoulders, sleeping with one eye open. He'll wear us down without even lifting a finger. And when he finally strikes, we'll be dead on our feet. Playthings for him to do as he pleases. That won't do. We need to bring the fight to him. No more waiting around for a lead to come to us. It won't be easy, but can I still count on your help? I've come this far. Might as well go the rest of the way. Thank you, Sai. And if you've got no qualm risking life and limb to fight for Arnicus, to fight for me, then I've got no qualm to calling you a member of my family. Family. A curious word, that. Oh, shit! Bloody... It's him, Sai! Orcus! Some persistent rats were nibbling at my tail. I should have known by their stench that it was you and yours, Drusilla. Or should I call you granddaughter? Oh! Shut your mouth, you thrice-stamped monster! Monster? Is that any way to greet a beloved elder? Children these days. It seems one death wasn't punishment enough for you. A second should suffice for this scant remainder of your being. Sai, we're ending this here and now. Follow my lead. I thought we might savor our reunion for a little while longer, but if you insist, I shall feast upon your beating heart here and now. Die! Naught but dregs left in that desiccated vessel of yours. Too long has the hide been left in the sun. But your family has been replenished with fresh blood, I see. My. What a bounteous soul this one has. Your scythe may be dull, but your eyes as sharp as ever. Blinding as the sun, pure as the snow. Delicate as a boar slathered in grease. I thought to make quick meal of you, but perhaps just this once. Forbearance is in order. Such a singular specimen must be given time to fatten, to fulfill its succulent potential. It will be a travesty to consume you ere you achieve perfection. When your soul is ripe with fear, swollen with hatred, and fit to burst with despair, I shall return for you, Sai, and I shall gorge. Until that time, sup well, my growing whelp. Damn. Curse these old bones. He was right in front of me. I could have ended it in one swing. For a moment, just one moment, I saw it all again. My family, slaughtered, lying at his feet. My life slipping away. And that was enough. Doubtless you have more than a few questions. I'll answer them, I promise, but now's not the time. Trust me. Sitting around kicking the sand won't change what's done. Let's return to the headquarters and let the wind cool our heads. Then we can consider our next course of action. In that case, that'll be able to get enough XP from the quests themselves. It was my own fault. If I hadn't stood there like slack-jawed, if I hadn't stood there slack-jawed, it wasn't so damn slow, we'd be rid of that abomination once and for all. What you saw used to be my grandfather, before Orcus took over. He looks green enough to be my own grandchild now. Stick of the void, like as not. It's no secret that if a voice then doesn't want to devour you, it probably wants to take possession of your flesh. But Orcus has a particular talent for it. As you doubtless surmised, he's got an insatiable craving for ether. Killing is only a prelude to the act of gulping down our existence, like a draught of ale after a day's work. He's old. Can't exactly say how old. He's acquired a taste for the finer things. Seems your soul counts among the finest you've ever seen. Things just keep getting better for us, don't they? Wouldn't be the first time someone set their sights on my soul. Is that so? You used to being a prize pig, are we? Anyway, it's clear that safety is no longer something we can take for granted. Not even in a crowded street. Not even in the middle of the day. Keep your eyes peeled, and watch for those terrible red eyes. We're sitting chocobos for the moment, but I'll think of something to send for you as soon as I can. Until then, never sleep far from your sight. Glad to see Orcus hasn't sunk his teeth into you yet, Si. Don't go thinking he's given up on trying, though. He's out there, savoring you from a distance. Can't resist checking in on his prize, just as he can't resist seeking out morsels to tide him over till his feast. The reports we've received of a pale man as death, of a man pale as death skulking about the sands is proof of that. And then there's the matter of this blunted dagger. We don't know who sent it, but we know what it means. It's a warning, commonly used by the less savory elements in Uldar. A warning that the next will be delivered sharp and straight into our bellies. More fool to them, they've no notion that we've faced and lived, what we've faced and lived, thinking we'd soil our small clothes over empty threats. Let's hope it's nothing more than that, lass, seeing as we need to follow up on those reports sooner than later. Anyone fancy a bit of fresh air? If we catch a whiff of Orcus's foul stench, all the better. Si, I want you to ask around the Brush Station, and I'll head to Stone's Throw. When you're done, meet me there and we'll share what we've dug up. I have a bad feeling Herman's gonna die, considering nobody else is around. Not every member of the family has the means of the inclination to live in the jewel of the desert. Some settle from something with a little less luster. I'm sure. I recognize that half-shirt stride. The mark of a woman ready to take on the world and then some. You must be the Aortan Reaper the boss sent word about. I'm almost disappointed to tell you nothing is amiss. The soldier in me would have loved to see a Reaper in action. I once fought the Imperial Army. Thought you wouldn't think of it to look, though you wouldn't think of it to look at me now. I served proudly under Lord Valens in my youth, until the day you ordered us to use common folk as fodder in some pointless skirmish. I refused and was sentenced to death for my candor. Needless to say, I didn't keep that appointment. Compared to that evil, toothless threats and ghosts are no bother. But the less jaded are more excitable. One lass in particular has been jumping in shadows. She claims to have seen all manner of terrors, but I suspect she'd be startled by her own reflection. Still, if you want to lend an ear to her delusions, you can find her in Lost Hope. Ah! Oh, hello. Who are you? Oh, did Drusilla receive my message? She sent someone to rid us of this terrible evil waiting in the wings. Truly, she cares for us if she really were her flesh or blood, which is more than I can say about my own. Not once have I longed to return to the life of comfort I left behind in Garlemald, and I have Drusilla to thank for that. She isn't the reason I left home in the first place, of course. Had I not met my beloved, I most likely would have still be feasting on lemon cakes in ignorance. In ignorance of love, of freedom. I found the former in Garlemald and the latter in Eorzea, as our new life blossomed into something beautiful. Not every day has been easy, not even most days, but Drusilla's watchful eye has kept us safe, and our freedom is worth more than any measure of hardship. Such terrible fear gripped my heart when my beloved told me of the pale man that he spied in the sands. But now that the family has come to help, I can breathe a sigh of relief. I'm sure you wish to know more precisely where to find that horrid creature, but I cannot help half so well as my beloved might. Seek him in the southeast, and pray to put an end to this nightmare. Lieth dandy. Okay. Through devilled mist the hunter doth now thread, tracking the scent of quarry others dread. In the darkest night cry for a keeper. Lo, by your side she walks, the reaper. Eh? Apologies for the effusive display, friend. I'm a poet, you see, and cannot resist putting into words the flood of emotions that accompany such a striking figure such as yours. Not interested. Uh-oh. Monster! Oh, God. God damn it. Oh boy, here I go killing again. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My savior, my godsend. Would I had... Would that I could have aided you, but alas, a poet's pen is of little use in battle. Unless, of course, that battle involves not swords and scythe, but words. Just ask the sire of my beloved, who is even now licking the wounds dealt by the investive verse I composed after he had the gall to forbid our union. A masterwork of scathing metaphor and subtle remonstration. Alas, for all their pretensions, nobles are anything but subtle in their rage. Oh. Okay, I think this is where we were. A masterwork of scathing metaphor and subtle remonstration. Alas, for all their pretensions, nobles are anything but subtle in their rage. We were forced to flee, to abandon our homes with only our love for sustenance. Nevertheless, I've regretted not a single moment of our life in exile. In Eorzea, we found an unexpected treasure. Freedom. Freedom of mind and freedom of heart. Ah, but I digress. Surely you did not seek me out simply to save my life and leave with a nod and a smile. Do you wish to commission a poem? No, I want information on the fucking void set, you stupid bitch. A pale man? Aye, I encountered him whilst wandering these arid wastes in search of inspiration. I felt the gaze of some terrible presence upon my back, and when I turned to meet it, he was standing there, grinning like a butcher in a bullpen. He wore robes much too thick for these scorched sands, and his skin looked like as if he'd been kissed by the blazing sun. Worst of all, his eyes were as two bottomless pools of blood. I feared my end had come, but then he vanished as quickly as he had appeared. Perhaps I've been reckless. Recent incidents make it clear that the cost of inspiration is higher than I'm willing to pay. I shall return to my beloved for both my safety and hers. And hers. Thank you again, my savior. Okay, so Orcus is indeed still just chilling about. I'm going down, you stupid bitch. Look. Uh-oh. There you are. And? Well, so I ran into one guy who told me to go one girl, and then she told me to meet her husband. Another one of his accursed minions. Well, I suppose I can take comfort in the fact that none of the family came to harm, yourself included. Well done. Speaking of which, what do you think of this family that you've been thrust into? Speak freely. I haven't lived this long by taking offense at opinions I don't want to hear. I'm surprised. Seems like any other family to me. Seen some odd families then, I reckon. I like to think we're one of a kind, though. A collection of cast-offs, unfit to live under the Empire's boots. Yours truly included. Much as some enlightened types might tell you otherwise, people like to have a say in the life they lead. That's what separates us from those bugs over there. Born queens, workers and drones, bred into roles ingrained so deeply they wouldn't know how to live otherwise, for the glory and prosperity of the hive. But we got it in us to be different. Might be born into farming, soldiering, or politicking, but we can choose to walk a different path whenever the fancy should strike. Taint our inner nature to accept our lot without question. No. We have to believe in something, put our faith in it. Only then will we deign to march into step. And indeed, faith of a savage stripe is one way to get us dancing to the same tune. Others might be compelled through faith in logic or law, intangible, invisible, yet cause enough for killing and conquering if it suits the queen. The invaders have sullied our birthright for 8 centuries. No longer. We march on for Locus Ammonius. With a few righteous words, his radiant Solus Galvus whipped into the hive into a frenzy. For that fire is burning. Once that fire is burning, the passion of the masses can't soon be quelled. What was once a wish for home became a holy mission to spread enlightenment. Enlightenment which would not suffer of such beliefs as the beastmen held. Oh, come on, here we go. Countless scores rendered up their lives on the altar of the empire, until an entire continent was united under a single Magitech fist. For those who still dreamed the dream of unity, a deed worthy of song. Yet some awoke to see it for the tyranny it was, my grandfather Rullus included. The talents of the Reapers are passed down through bloodlines. Rullus was the best of us, the most accomplished and feared in the Order's long history. The duty of the Reapers, our role in the Hive, if you will, was to deliver our countrymen from the corrupt and power-hungry tyrants. When Garlemald found religion in conquest, its appetite grew to be insatiable. My grandfather pondered his conundrum for many sleepless nights, and came to a decision. He would relieve Solos Sos Galvez of his life. Oh shit. 20 years ago, he slipped into the deepest chambers of the Imperial Palace, silent as a shadow, until he could hear the Emperor's beating heart. Yet when Rollis returned to me, Solus was alive and well. My grandfather, on the other hand, had a skittishness to his step. His black hair had turned pale white. He said naught of his encounter with the Emperor, save that the most powerful man in Garlemald was no man at all. Shamed in his defeat, my grandfather sought greater power. Bit by bit, he gave him more of himself over to the voice end behind his avatar. Orcus struck when Rullus was weakest, taking his flesh and soul in one fell swoop. When he was finished, not a mote of my grandfather remained in that body. There was only Orcus. The fiend flew into a rapturous frenzy, and my family were his first victims. I remember the chill of his teeth sinking into my flesh, gnawing until they reached my very essence. I'm standing here before you then. Oh, Orcus scored on the soul that night, but it wasn't mine. Not exactly. It was my avatar that filled his belly. Seems that was all he could stomach. Some might consider that a lucky twist of fate, but I had little time to ponder my fortune. Fled soon as I was able, his radiance never looked kindly on those trying to end his life, or their families. I wandered about for years until I settled here and started seeking out others like me, others who had awoken from the Empire's dream. Lemures is what we call the spirits of the dead in the Garlean tongue. A fitting moniker if there ever was one. Waking up from a long sleep ain't unlike climbing out of the grave. I can attest to that. Son of a bleep. Remind me not to give such a long-winded speeches when the sand is blowing in my face. I'm heading back for some ale. See you at the headquarters. I have to say, I like Drusilla. It's just a shame she has so many death flags around her right now. Ah, crap, hang on. How many poetics? Probably not enough for a relic weapon just yet. For a tombstone weapon yet. It leaves the... It's Deep Shadow set, isn't it? Crypt Lurkers. My bad. Actually, wait, hang on. There it is. Oh crap, I forgot about the... Ah, whatever. Welcome back, boss. How was the family? Shaken, but unharmed aside from some tousled hair and mangled verse. Orcus left one of his minions behind as a gift, but Sire made quick work of it. I always said she was a keeper. You have an eye for the fierce of heart. I wish she could slay Orcus all on her own. Not that we'd let her take all the glory. I take it back. She has death flags. Of course we wouldn't. We'll all be there when Orcus tries to take his prize. I don't think we'll be waiting long either. Orcus said he'd strike when Zai was ripe with fear and hatred and despair. Seasonings he's loath to forgo. I have an inkling on how he might try to draw out those emotions and finish off a half-eaten meal besides. Right you are, Drusilla! How many nights did you mourn your lost avatar? The wellspring of your power. I must say, it was quite the dish. I think not. Move as much as a finger and her head will hit the floor. Oh, that's it, Sai. That fire. I want to see it burn. I want to see it rage. I want to see the hatred slip into the depths of your soul. Shall I make this Drusilla's final breath? Or this one? It's so very hard to choose. I was right to not give in to my baser instincts. To allow the thought of your taste to simmer in my mind as you and Drusilla formed a bond, a kinship even. Born from an understanding of her inconsequential ideals, that you may better appreciate the bitter loss. But perhaps I should wait a while longer, to let the flavor of your hatred mature, and the tang of your malice ripen. I can make use of Drusilla yet. Revel in her screams, exult in her misery. Ah, how splendid it would be. All the while my prize piglet growing fat with loathing and succulent with terror. Patience rewards the dutiful gourmand, after all. When your tantalizing flavor has fully matured, I shall return, and I shall reap my harvest. Well, shit. Goddamn poison bastard! Soulless piece of shit! Swipe that sodding demon spawn! Aye, that's a spirit. Right, we need a plan first things first. Find out where Orcus is hiding. The rest of the family should be able to help with that. In the meantime, you need to prepare. I know your good side, but we can't leave the boss life to chance. Sharpen your skills and your scythe, then sharpen it once more. The boss can do naught against Orcus without her avatar. That means you'll have to do the heavy lifting. Of course, I'll do what I can to afford you an advantage. You can count on that. For Drusilla. Now, I read somewhere that you can actually get level 80 relic gear for the new classes, back when you can find you usually find it, so I'm gonna go check if that's actually the case. Although most of my gear is up to snuff already, I do need a better weapon. There it is! Ooh. Oh, is it dyeable? It is! Wait, is that like... Ooh, I can make it like the blood on the side. That's cool. Ugh, are you kidding? This is, this is just higher level version of the fucking starting gear. What the hell? Ugh, oh well, I'll take the scythe at least. Okay. When I get my hands on him. Oh, Sai, listen. We found out where the boss is being held. But I'm warning you, the how isn't pretty. An envelope has arrived at headquarters this morning. I opened it, and inside was... Shit! Inside was a letter, written blood. There's no doubting whose it was. Orcus reveling in his own cruelty. The letter said he's waiting for us at dusk vigil. God knows what he's doing to her now. I called every able-bodied member of her family for this one. We'll head out as soon as everyone's assembled. The poet? What the fuck's he doing here? We're here, Herman. And we're waiting and more waiting outside. We're ready to repay the debt we owe Drusilla. With our lives if we must. With souls courageous, hearts of hardened steel, for leaders' sake, for family's ideal, into the demon's lair they soon tread, to end his terror foul, his reign of dread. The boss would beam with pride to see this group of cold-blooded killers. Alright, Sai, we're ready to when you say the word. This is a job for a Reaper, and a Reaper alone. What? Now, we might not be able to hold a candle to the likes of you, but we got skills. You'll need someone to distract Orcus, right? Then you can move in for the kill while its back is turned. Don't tell us to stay here with our thumbs up our arses while the boss is suffering. Drusilla wouldn't want you throwing your lives away. And what would you know about what she wants? Herman, listen, maybe she's right. I know she's right, god damn it. That doesn't mean it doesn't chafe. The boss wouldn't trust any woman with Reaper's arts, and Sai has proven herself worthy time and time again. If you're going alone, take that with you. For the boss, no self-respecting Reaper can reap without their scythe. Now go and make Orcus rue the day he crossed into this world. Oh, that was a Garlean salute, holy shit. Okay, that was as I say, that's a really neat touch. They actually used the Garlemald salute instead of like the normal one. Alright. Dusk Vigil. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip, well, I can't skip it, but you guys can at least, Okay, here we fucking go. There you are, Sai. My prize repast. Come forward. I can smell it. Your fear. Your hatred. Your tender marbled soul. My masterpiece. Ripe for the slaughter. I'll savor every bite. Strip the flesh from your bones. Crack them open to... Oh, okay. How I hungered, how I thirsted, enraptured by the thought of your sweet essence trickling down my throat. Oh shit, there's music though. Never have I suffered so in waiting, but in beholding your magnificence, I see it was worth every agonizing pang. I do not expect you to leap into my maw willingly, nor do I desire it. I want you to writhe and struggle unto your dying breath! Ah, hell. Very good. Defiance becomes you. Though it begins to bore me. A noise, rather! 'Tis past time you bared your belly for my blade! Prey's sole purpose is to satisfy! My word, your aim is terrible! Ah! How? There should be nothing left of you! Should have learned to chew your food more thoroughly. Fools! Both of you! I won't die so easily. I don't want it to be easy. Bring it on! Yes! Oh, fuck, I forgot to hide the chat log again. God damn it. No. This ends now, Orcus. Wait. Let me. This has been a long time coming. This was definitely not intentional, but I like how we like basically have like different eyes covered. Dripping with fear, boiling in hatred, I can still smell his exquisite aroma. Just, just a taste. Oh shit! It's done. Let's get back to headquarters, Sai. Let's. Oh, boss, Sai. Sorry for causing you all no end of worry. In tracking me down, you risked life and limb, and for that I thank you, all of you. We didn't risk anything. We just sat here praying until you and Sai came through that door. Don't be so hard on yourself, lass. I know every one of you would have joined her if she hadn't talked some sense into you. We owe you our lives, boss. We owe it to you to return the favor. You're more than I deserve. Who forces them to hold Who forces them to hold dear into a personal vendetta? Them they hold dear into a personal vendetta. Who leads family to their death? Arnicus was no fool. He knew and accepted the risk. He placed his faith in you because he believed Orcus had to be stopped. And he was right. There'll be no more victims to mourn. He helped you achieve that victory. It'd be enough for him, and it'll be enough for me. You're right. This ain't the time for sulking. Arnicus would be the first to tell me that. Now's the time to honor his sacrifice. To toast to those we've lost, and those still by our sides. For those we've yet to save, and those we can save. And to thank the brave souls that led us here. That means you, Sai, as much as I'd like to take credit for Orcus's demise. It was a long, bloody road, but this marks the end of your first assignment as a Reaper. And what an assignment it was, eh? You might not be Garlean, but you tackled your task with singular resolve that impressed the most hardened soldier. I'm proud to call you family. We may have founded the Lemures to provide home for wayward Gallians, but we're not so different, Gallians are in Eosians. No great revelation, that, but moments like these help to put it all into perspective. This family was a dream that gave us the strength to survive in a strange land. But a beautiful thing about dreams, if you ask me, is that they can change. They can get better. So I say that, from this day forward, the Lemures will be unified not by origin, but by purpose. Brothers and sisters, bound by shared convictions. I don't think anyone will object to that, boss. The Lemures are ready to welcome people of all stripes. Starting with you, Sai. Though, it was all but official already, eh? Aye. Here's to the birth of a new family, sister. What a day it's been, eh? I hope it'll be a while yet before I have occasion to yammer on that much again. Too much talking liable to get me in a sentimental mood. Or worse, make me dewy-eyed. So let's leave it at that, eh? You ever get weary from the weight of the world on your shoulders? Know that our doors will always be open. And if you need an ear to bend, a shoulder to weep on, or a stiff bottle to jump inside, I'll be right there, sister. The shard case, yeah, I know about that. Okay, I'll have to test that out later. Alright. That's gonna be it until I start the MSQ, which might as well stream a little bit later in the day once I've had dinner. So yeah.